Oh my God. Chris, what the hell are you doing here? Did you seriously sneak into a board meeting? Security. Security. There's a delivery boy in the executive boardroom. This is absolutely insane. Did you follow me here? Are you stalking me now?
What is this all about? Wait, you? Chris? Who let this nobody in here? Get him out. This is a private executive session. I'm about to be named CEO, and you're, what? Delivering our sandwiches. You're trespassing, buddy. I'll have you arrested. I'll have you blacklisted from every building in Manhattan.
Chris, you pathetic loser. You're still chasing after me. I left you 3 months ago. Move on. Look at you. Did you borrow that suit? Rent it to sneak in here? You're still nobody. God, this is embarrassing. Brayden, baby, I'm so sorry. Someone call security and get him out.
I took a slow sip of water from the crystal glass in front of me. Let the moment breathe. Let them dig their hole just a little deeper. The mahogany table stretched before me, lined with executives in tailored suits. And at the head of that table, that's where I was sitting.
Did you hear me? You can't sit there. That's my seat. I'm the senior VP. You're some nobody delivery driver.
Mr. Mitchell, if I may interrupt, allow me to introduce Mr. Masterson, chairman of the board of directors of the Sterling Group, which as of 72 hours ago owns controlling interest in Titan Tech. Mr. Masterson has been overseeing this acquisition for the past 3 years and will be chairing this meeting today.
The silence that followed was deafening. I watched the color drain from Brayden's face. Watched Beverly's mouth open and close like she'd forgotten how to breathe. This was the moment. But this wasn't the beginning of my story. My name is Chris. 3 months ago, my girlfriend of 5 years told me I was pathetic. That I'd die alone and forgotten. That I was invisible. She left me for a corporate executive with a Tesla and a corporate credit card. What she didn't know. I was already a king. She just couldn't see the crown. This is the story of how I became the invisible king. And how karma has a sense of timing that would make a screenwriter jealous. 3 months earlier. It was a Tuesday evening when my world fell apart. Rain hammered against the windows of our tiny apartment in Brooklyn, the same apartment where the ceiling leaked every time it stormed. I had just gotten home from my second job of the day, my bones aching, my eyes heavy with exhaustion. One more shift to go, the delivery route started at 9 p.m.
Oh, you're finally back. Perfect timing, actually. I need you to see something.
Beverley stood in the middle of our living room, and she wasn't alone. A man I'd never seen before leaned against our kitchen counter, smirking, holding a glass of my whiskey. The cheap stuff I kept for bad days. Designer luggage surrounded them both. Louis Vuitton. Gucci. Brands that cost more than 3 months of my rent. Bev? What's going on? Who is this?
Oh, so you're Chris. Beverly told me all about you. Man, you're even sadder in person than she described. Look at you. Is that grease on your shirt? Let me guess, data entry? Delivery boy? God. Bev, you weren't exaggerating. This guy's a walking charity case.
The stranger laughed. Actually laughed. In my apartment. Drinking my whiskey. I looked at Beverly, waiting for her to explain, to defend me, to do something. Instead, she crossed her arms and sighed like I was the one inconveniencing her.
Chris, this is Brayden. Brayden Mitchell. He's an executive at Titan Tech. And he's the man I should have been with all along. We've been seeing each other for 4 months now. For months where I've actually been treated like a woman should be treated. For months of real restaurants, real gifts, real luxury. Not your pathetic dollar store flowers and cramped apartments with leaking ceilings.
4 months. The number hit me like a freight train. 4 months meant she'd been cheating since July. Since my birthday. Since the night I worked a double shift so I could take her to that restaurant she loved. You've been cheating on me? For 4 months. Bev, I've been working 3 jobs for us. For our future. Everything I do is for.
For what? This dump? Buddy, wake up. Look around you. You've been together 5 years, and this is what you have to show for it. A leaking ceiling? Ramen noodles? A girlfriend who has to watch her friends jet off to Europe while you're delivering Chinese food? You're not building a future, pal. You're drowning. And Beverly's smart enough to grab a life raft when she sees one.
He put his arm around her. Around my girlfriend of 5 years. And she let him. She actually leaned into him, like they'd rehearsed this moment.
Brayden's right. Chris, I've wasted 5 years of my life waiting for you to become somebody. 5 years. Do you know what that's like? Watching everyone around me live their best lives while I'm stuck eating ramen and pretending I'm happy. My friends think I'm a joke. They pity me. Poor Beverley, dating that struggling nobody. Well, I'm done being pitted.
I thought you loved me. I thought we were building something together.
Love? Love. Love doesn't pay bills, Chris. Love doesn't buy designer bags or book trips to Santorini. Love doesn't make me feel like I matter. Brayden took me to the Waverley Inn last week. Do you even know what that is? Of course you don't. It's a place where entrees cost more than your weekly salary.
Look, Chris, no hard feelings, but you had your shot. 5 years is a long time to prove yourself, and you failed. Beverly deserves a king, not a peasant. And between you and me, she's been complaining about you for months. About how boring you are. How embarrassing it is to tell people what you do for a living. How she has to pretend she's happy when really, she's dying inside.
Is that true? Bev, did you really?
Every word. God, Chris, you have no idea how exhausting it's been pretending. Pretending your pathetic gestures were romantic. That stupid bracelet you bought me? I told you I loved it, but I cried in the bathroom because it wasn't enough. It's never enough with you. You're never enough.
The bracelet. The Tiffany's bracelet I'd nearly killed myself to buy. I'd worked through a blizzard, 17 hours straight, my fingers numb, my body shaking from cold and exhaustion. I'd made $1,700 that day and spent every penny on that bracelet because I'd wanted to see her happy. She'd cried in the bathroom. Not from joy. From disappointment.
Here's what's going to happen, Chris. Beverly's coming with me. We're taking her things. Well, the things I bought her, since clearly you couldn't afford much. And you're going to let us walk out that door like the nobody you are. Because honestly, what are you going to do about it? Fight me? Call the cops? Face it, buddy. You lost. You've been losing your whole life. You're just too stupid to realize it.
Brayden moved closer, his expensive cologne filling the space between us. He was taller than me, broader, wearing a watch that probably cost more than my car. Everything about him screamed success. Everything about me screamed failure. At least, that's what they saw.
I've been helping Beverly plan this for weeks. Finding the right time to tell you. Making sure she had somewhere to land. My penthouse in Tribeca. Waterfront views, Chris. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Private elevator. Everything you'll never have. And you know what the best part is? She's going to forget you ever existed. You'll just be a funny story she tells at cocktail parties. Remember that loser I dated in my 20s? The one who thought delivering noodles was a career.
They'd been planning this. Together. 4 weeks. Every kiss goodnight. Every I love you. Every moment I thought was real had been a lie. A performance. A countdown to this moment.
Brayden even helped me figure out what to say to you. How to make this quick and clean. Because honestly, Chris, you would have tried to fix this. You would have begged. You would have promised to work harder, sacrifice more, be better. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want your promises. I want a real life with a real man.
So this was planned. The humiliation. The betrayal. The cruelty. They'd orchestrated this entire scene to break me as thoroughly as possible. Get out.
What?
I said get out. Take your bags. Take your lies. Take your new life. And get the hell out of my apartment.
Oh, look who grew a spine. Too little, too late, buddy. Come on, Bev. Let's let the peasant have his hovel. We have dinner reservations at 11 Madison Park. $300 tasting menu. But you wouldn't know anything about that. Would you, Chris?
They gathered the designer luggage, laughing and whispering to each other like I wasn't even there. Like I was already a ghost in my own life. Beverly paused at the door, and for a moment, I thought she might apologize. Might show some shred of the woman I'd fallen in love with 5 years ago.
Oh, and Chris? When you're 50 years old, still delivering food, still living in dumps like this, still alone because no woman with any self-respect would ever want you, remember this moment. Remember that you had a chance at happiness with someone like me, and you blew it. You're going to die invisible and forgotten. And honestly, that's exactly what you deserve.
The door slammed. The apartment fell silent except for the sound of water dripping from the ceiling into a bucket I positioned there weeks ago. I stood there, frozen, replaying every word. Every calculated cruelty. Every rehearsed line. My phone buzzed. Through blurred vision, I looked at the screen. An email. The subject line read, Titan Tech acquisition complete, board appointment confirmed. Chairman Masterson, congratulations. Mr. Masterson. The name I've been using in my third job for 5 years. The shadow consulting work that Beverley never asked about. Never cared about. Because she was too busy counting the money I wasn't making to wonder about the work I was actually doing. For 5 years, I had been living 2 lives. One as Chris, the struggling boyfriend working himself to death. And one as Mr. Masterson, the anonymous consultant who had just orchestrated the largest corporate acquisition in tech history. The Sterling Group had acquired Titan Tech that very morning. Brayden Mitchell's company. And I had just been appointed chairman of the board. The timing was coincidence. Pure, cosmic irony. The deal had been in motion for 3 years, long before Brayden entered the picture. I hadn't planned this. Hadn't engineered some elaborate revenge. I'd just been doing my job. Building something real while living on ramen so Beverley could have the life she wanted. But now. Now things were different. Let me take you back 2 years, to help you understand the man I was. The man I had to become. It was January, and New York was being buried under 3 feet of snow. The blizzard shut down half the city. And it was Beverley's birthday. She'd been dropping hints for weeks about a bracelet at Tiffany's. $3,000. I was making $40,000 a year at data entry, another $20,000 delivering food, and doing confidential consulting work that paid well but came with strict non-disclosure agreements and deferred compensation structures. On paper, I was broke. In reality, I was building an empire I couldn't tell anyone about. But that bracelet. I needed to see her happy. So I took every extra delivery shift I could find that week. When the blizzard hit on her birthday, the apps were offering triple rates. Dangerous work. But I was young and stupid and in love. I worked from noon until 3 in the morning, delivering food through ice and snow. My bike skidded on black ice more times than I could count. My fingers went numb. My face burned from wind chill. But I kept going. I made $1,700 that day. Combined with what I'd saved, I walked into Tiffany's the next morning and bought that bracelet. When I gave it to her, she looked at the box, then at me, then back at the box. And I waited. Waited for the joy. The gratitude. The moment that would make all the pain worth it.
You bought this? How? I mean, I know you worked, but I was kind of hoping for the matching earrings too. The set looks incomplete without them. But I guess this is fine. For now.
That should have been my wake-up call. But love blinds you to red flags the size of billboards. I told myself she was just surprised. Just overwhelmed. Just being practical about future gifts. I made excuses because I wanted so badly to believe we were building something real. But looking back now, I can see it clearly. She never asked how I got the money. Never wondered about the sacrifice. Never saw me as anything more than a resource to be depleted. And when I ran dry, when the well was empty, she found someone else to drain. The weeks after she left were strange. I continued my jobs, the ones she knew about, but now I could finally step fully into my other life. The board meetings. The strategic calls. The world where Chairman Masterson made decisions that moved markets. And I started digging into Brayden Mitchell. Not for revenge. For due diligence. He was a senior executive at a company we'd just acquired. I needed to know who I was working with. What I found was fascinating. Brayden Mitchell made $180,000 a year. Good money. But not Tribeca penthouse money. Not Waverly and 3 times a week money. Not Louis Vuitton luggage and Tiffany's jewelry money. Not even close. So where was it coming from? I had our forensic accountants take a deeper look. And that's when we found it. The expense reports. The corporate credit card statements. The receipts. For 4 months, the exact 4 months he'd been seeing Beverley, Brayden had been systematically embezzling from Titan Tech, expensing personal purchases as business expenses. Routing company funds through shell consulting firms he controlled. Using shareholder money to fund a lifestyle he couldn't afford and impress a woman who wouldn't love him otherwise. $370,000. That's what he'd stolen. That's what it cost to steal my girlfriend. And the beautiful thing? He documented everything. Every dinner. Every gift. Every lie. All sitting in Titan Tech's financial systems, waiting to be discovered. 3 months after Beverley left, the board called an emergency meeting. The acquisition audit had uncovered irregularities. Significant irregularities. The kind that required immediate executive action. The meeting was scheduled for a Tuesday afternoon. 52nd floor. Executive boardroom. Brayden Mitchell thought he was being promoted to CEO. The board had led him to believe that. Let him prepare his speech. Let him invite his girlfriend to witness his coronation. I arrived early, dressed in my Tom Ford suit, my hair properly cut for the first time in years. I looked like money. Like power. Like everything Beverley had ever wanted. Everything she told me I'd never be. I took my seat at the head of the table and waited. The other board members filed in, including Patricia Masterson, my aunt and the only person who knew both my identities. She gave me a subtle nod. Everything was in place. Then Brayden arrived, confident, smiling, already acting like he owned the room. And behind him, like a designer shadow, came Beverley. Which brings us back to where we started. The boardroom. The moment of truth. After Patricia introduced me, the room was silent enough to hear a pin drop. I let them stare. Let them process. Let the reality sink in like a slow-motion car crash.
Chris, I don't understand. This is a joke, right? Some kind of prank? You're not. You can't be.
Chairman of the board. Principal investor. The person who orchestrated this entire acquisition. Yes, Beverley. I can be. I am. I have been for 3 years. The shadow consulting work you never asked about. This was it. I was building an empire while you were complaining about ramen.
This is insane. You're a delivery driver. I've seen you on your bike. You live in a dump. You're nobody.
I lived in a dump because every dollar from my regular jobs went to keeping the dump afloat and keeping Beverley happy. Every dollar from my consulting work, my real work, went into investments I couldn't touch due to NDAs, deferred compensation agreements, and investor anonymity requirements. It's quite common in high-level venture capital. But you wouldn't know that, would you, Brayden? Because your executive position is mostly smoke and mirrors. I opened the folder in front of me. Financial records. Credit card statements. Expense reports. Security footage. 4 months of evidence. Which brings me to why we're really here today. Mr. Mitchell, over the past 4 months, you've embezzled $370,000 from this company. Corporate credit cards used for personal purchases. Shell consulting firms routing company funds to your personal accounts. Fake expense reports for client entertainment that never happened.
That's a lie. Those were legitimate business expenses. Client entertainment. Networking. I can explain every single.
Can you explain the Louis Vuitton luggage set purchased on March 15th? The expense report lists it as client gifts. But the delivery address is your Tribeca penthouse. The same penthouse you're renting, not owning, which is bleeding you dry every month.
Can you explain the Tiffany's receipts? 6 separate purchases totaling $42,000, all expensed as client appreciation, except the security footage shows you shopping alone, and the items were never logged in our corporate gift inventory.
Can you explain the Waverley Inn? 11 Madison Park. Lou Bernardine. 23 dinners in 4 months, all expensed as client meetings. Except you never submitted the names of any clients. Never provided meeting notes. Never showed any resulting business. Because there were no clients, were there, Brayden? There was just you and Beverley, living a fantasy life on stolen money.
Those were legitimate. I just forgot to file the proper documentation. I can get you the client names. I can prove.
Brayden, what is he talking about? You said you were rich. You said you earned all of it. You said we could afford anything.
He lied, Bev. He's been lying to you the same way you lied to me. The only difference? His lies are criminal. Yours were just cruel.
Shut up. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a top performer. I closed $50 million in deals. This company needs me. You can't do this. I'll sue. I'll go to the press. I'll destroy you.
The 50 million in deals. Let's talk about that. Patricia, can you pull up Brayden's actual sales records?
Of course. Mr. Mitchell has claimed credit for $50 million in closed deals over the past 2 years. However, our audit shows that $38 million of those deals were actually closed by his team members. Mr. Mitchell attached his name to their contracts to inflate his performance metrics. The remaining $12 million? Those clients have since complained about misrepresentation and undelivered services. We're currently facing 3 lawsuits directly related to Mr. Mitchell's sales practices.
So not only did you steal money, you stole credit. You built your entire reputation on lies. And you used those lies to justify stealing even more. You're not a king, Brayden. You're a con artist who got sloppy.
You can't prove any of this. I have rights. I have lawyers. This is defamation. This is
a recording of you, 2 months ago, on the phone with a shell consulting firm you control. You're discussing how to route company funds for personal liquidity needs. We have the audio. We have the bank records. We have everything, Brayden. And so does the district attorney's office. They received a full copy of our findings this morning. The room went dead silent. Brayden's face transitioned from red to white to green. He sat down heavily, his confidence evaporating like water on hot pavement.
You stolen money? On me? Oh my God, oh my God. Chris, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I thought he was successful. I thought he was real. You have to believe me.
Did you know, Bev? Let me read you something. This is a text message from you to Brayden, dated 6 weeks ago. Baby, can you expense the weekend in Miami? Use that client entertainment code you told me about. Nobody checks those anyway. We deserve this. I watched her face go pale. Watched the lie die in her throat before she could speak it. Here's another one. The girls are asking how you afford everything on a corporate salary. What should I tell them? That you're secretly rich? That you're a genius investor? Help me out here. I don't want them to know I'm dating another struggling guy. Another struggling guy. Like me. So you knew, Bev. You knew exactly where the money was coming from. You just didn't care because you were finally getting what you thought you deserved.
Chris, please. I made mistakes. We both made mistakes. But we can fix this. We can start over. You and me. We were good together once. We can be good again.
Here's one more text. This one's from 4 months ago. The day before you first met Brayden. You sent it to your friend Nicole. Going to a Titan Tech networking event tonight. Time to trade up. Chris is never going to be anything. I need to find a real man before I waste any more of my prime years. Before you ask how I have these, Brayden was stupid enough to use his company phone for everything. Company property means company access during fraud investigations. Every text, every call, every screenshot you sent him bragging about your plans. He kept everything, Bev. You were so proud of yourself, you had to share it all with him. And now I have it all too. You planned this, Bev. You went hunting. And when you found Brayden, when you found someone who seemed successful, you helped him steal so you could both live a lie. You weren't victims. You were partners. Conspirators. And now you're both going to pay the price.
This is your fault, Beverley. You wanted the expensive dinners. You wanted the designer bags. You pushed me to spend more. I was fine before you came along. You ruined me.
Don't you dare blame this on me. You told me you had money. You lied to impress me. You said you were a big shot executive. You said we'd live like royalty. This is your fault.
And there it is. The truth. You deserve each other. 2 people willing to lie, cheat, and steal for the appearance of success. For Instagram posts and status symbols. For the illusion of being somebody. Mr. Mitchell, you're terminated effective immediately. Security will escort you from the building. We've already frozen your corporate accounts and seized your company property. The DA will be in touch regarding criminal charges. Embezzlement at this scale typically carries 5 to 7 years. Your legal bills will be substantial, and I doubt you have the money to pay them.
We'll also be filing a civil suit to recover all stolen funds, plus damages. That includes the Tribeca penthouse deposit, the Tesla lease, and every gift purchased with company money. We'll be repossessing everything.
You can't do this. I'll fight this. I'll expose you. I'll tell everyone how you set me up. How you manipulated.
Set you up. Brayden, I didn't make you steal. I didn't make you lie. I didn't make you build a house of cards and pray it wouldn't fall. You did that all by yourself. I just did my job. Due diligence. Audits. Protecting shareholder value. If you hadn't been a criminal, we wouldn't be here. 2 security officers appeared at the door. They weren't gentle as they escorted Brayden out. His protests echoed down the hallway, getting quieter until they disappeared entirely. The room cleared. The board members filed out, some looking satisfied, others looking uncomfortable. Patricia gave me a subtle nod of approval before she left. And then it was just me and Beverley.
Chris, please. Let me explain. I know I hurt you. I know I said terrible things. But I was confused. I was scared. I thought you'd never amount to anything and I panicked. But I see now. I see who you really are. And I still love you. I never stopped loving you.
Don't.
Don't what? Don't tell you the truth? Chris, we were together for 5 years. That has to mean something. We had something real. We can have it again. I'll be different this time. I'll appreciate you. I'll support you. I'll be the woman you deserve.
You'll be the woman I deserve. That's funny, Bev. Because the woman I deserved wouldn't have cheated. Wouldn't have mocked my sacrifice. Wouldn't have planned my humiliation with her new boyfriend. Wouldn't have knowingly spent stolen money and then texted about how to steal more.
I made mistakes. People make mistakes. You can't judge me forever for a few bad choices. I was with you for 5 years. 5 years of loyalty. Of standing by you. That has to count for something.
5 years of loyalty. Beverley, I read all the texts. We recovered everything from your phone records as part of the investigation into Brayden. Do you want to know what I found? You've been complaining about me to your friends for 3 years. 3 years of texts about how embarrassing I am. How poor I am. How much you want to leave but feel stuck. How you're actively looking for someone better every time you go out. Brayden wasn't your first affair. He was just the first one who could afford your price tag. There were 2 others before him. Short-lived, because they figured out who you really were. But you kept trying. Kept hunting. Kept looking for your exit while using my money to survive.
That's not fair. You're twisting everything. I stayed with you. I chose you for 5 years. Doesn't that mean I loved you?
No, Bev. It means you were comfortable. It means I was paying your rent and buying you gifts just often enough to keep you around while you looked for something better. I wasn't your boyfriend. I was your safety net. Your backup plan. Your ATM with a heartbeat.
Please. Chris, please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything. I'll change. I'll be better. Just give me one more chance. Please. I'm begging you.
You're not sorry you hurt me. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry your golden goose turned out to be a fraud. You're sorry your plan fell apart. But you're not sorry about who you are or what you did. I stood up and gathered my documents. Walked toward the door. She grabbed my arm, her designer nails digging into my expensive suit.
Don't you walk away from me. After everything I gave you. After all the years I invested in you. You owe me. You became this because of me. Because I pushed you. Because I made you want to be better. This is my success as much as yours.
I removed her hand. Gently. Firmly. Finally. You're right about one thing. You did push me. Every cruel word. Every moment of disrespect. Every time you made me feel small, you pushed me to prove I was more than what you saw. But I didn't become successful because of you, Bev. I became successful in spite of you. While you were tearing me down, I was building something real. And the saddest part? If you just asked. If you just cared enough to ask what I was working on, what I was building, what my dreams were, you could have been part of this. We could have built this empire together. But you never asked. Because you never cared. And now it's too late.
It's not too late. Chris, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't leave me like this. I have nothing. Brayden's going to prison. I'll lose the apartment. I'll lose everything. You can't do this to me. You can't.
Goodbye, Beverley. I walked out of that boardroom and didn't look back. Her screams followed me down the hall, getting quieter with each step. Security would escort her out eventually. For now, I just needed air. I took the elevator down 52 floors and walked out into the New York afternoon. It was raining. Of course it was raining. The universe has a sense of poetry. I stood there, letting the rain wash over me, and I thought about the man I'd been 3 months ago. Broken. Humiliated. Standing in that leaking apartment, believing I was worthless. That man wasn't worthless. He was strong. He was dedicated. He was building something real while everyone around him saw only failure. And maybe that's the real lesson here. The weeks that followed were a media circus. The Titan Tech scandal made headlines. Brayden's arrest. The embezzlement charges. The trial. He took a plea deal, 4 years in federal prison, full restitution, permanent ban from executive positions. Beverley tried to claim ignorance, but the text messages buried her. She wasn't charged criminally, but the civil suit destroyed her financially. Every gift Brayden bought her was seized. Every trip, every dinner, every moment of her fantasy life was repossessed and calculated. She owed Titan Tech $98,000. Money she'd never have. I heard she moved back home with her parents in Ohio. Last I knew, she was working retail, her Instagram private, her friends gone, her life reduced to the small-town existence she'd spent years trying to escape. I could have felt satisfaction. Could have celebrated their downfall. But mostly, I just felt tired. Tired of carrying anger. Tired of replaying those 5 years. Tired of wondering what I did wrong. Because I didn't do anything wrong. I loved someone who wasn't capable of loving me back. I sacrificed for someone who saw sacrifice as weakness. I built a future with someone who only cared about the present. That's not my failure. That's hers. 6 months later, I found myself back at that ramen place on 9th Avenue. Same leaking roof. Same cracked vinyl seats. Same $5 bowls that had sustained me through my poorest years. A woman sat down next to me. Scrubs. Hospital badge. Exhausted eyes. She ordered the cheapest item on the menu and paid with wrinkled bills from her pocket.
Long shift?
I looked over at her and smiled. You could say that. You.
36 hours on call. Residency. It's brutal. But hey, at least I can still afford ramen, right?
Her name was Maya. She was a surgical resident, working 100-hour weeks, drowning in student debt, eating ramen because it was all she could afford. She had that same exhausted determination in her eyes that I used to see in my own reflection. We talked for 2 hours. About medicine and business and dreams and New York. She didn't know who I was. Didn't know about the board seat or the acquisition or the scandal. She just saw a guy eating ramen. And that was perfect. When the check came, I paid for both of us. She protested, but I insisted. And when she wrote her number on a napkin, I knew I'd call. Not because she needed saving. Not because I needed validation. But because for the first time in years, I'd met someone who saw work as honor, not humiliation. Who saw struggle as strength, not weakness. Someone who understood what it meant to be invisible and kept showing up anyway. I called her 3 days later. That was a year ago. Maya and I are still together. She's finishing up her surgical fellowship now at Mount Sinai. Still works insane hours. Still orders the cheapest ramen even though I keep telling her we can afford better.
But the cheap ramen tastes better. And besides, it reminds me of when we met. When neither of us was trying to impress anyone.
Maya's different from Beverley in every way that matters. She asks about my work. Actually listens. Celebrates my wins and supports me through the losses. She works as hard as I do and respects the grind. We're building something real together. As for Brayden, last I heard, he's 2 years into his 4-year sentence. Model prisoner, apparently. Hoping for early release. His LinkedIn profile still lists him as CEO, though. Some people never learn. Beverley moved back to Ohio, working retail like I mentioned. But 6 months ago, something interesting happened. She saw on LinkedIn that I was speaking at a tech conference in Manhattan. And she decided to show up. Maya was with me. We were getting coffee before my keynote when Beverley appeared. She looked different. Tired. Older. The designer clothes were gone, replaced with fast fashion and desperation.
Chris, wait. I need to talk to you. Please, just 5 minutes. I've changed. I've learned. I just need one more chance. Who is she? Is that your girlfriend? Are you kidding me? You replaced me with her.
Maya stepped forward, calm as ever.
Hi. I'm Maya. Chris's girlfriend. And you need to leave. Now.
You don't get to tell me what to do. Chris is mine. We have history. 5 years. You're just some rebound. Some flavor of the month. Chris, tell her. Tell her what we had.
Beverley lunged forward. I don't know if she was trying to grab me or go after Maya. But she made a critical mistake. She grabbed Maya's arm. Maya's been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 8 years. Part of how she manages stress from residency. What happened next took about 3 seconds.
1 clean arm drag. Rear takedown. Controlled descent. And suddenly Beverley was face down on the sidewalk with Maya holding a perfect knee-on belly position. Not hurting her. Just, completely controlling her. I'm going to let you up now. You're going to walk away. If you ever approach Chris, me, or anyone we know again, we're filing harassment charges. Am I clear?
You can't. I'll sue. I'll call the cops. This is assault.
3 pedestrians already had their phones out. All the footage showed Beverley attacking first. Security from the conference venue was already approaching. We filed for a restraining order that afternoon. It was approved within 48 hours. Last I heard, Beverley's back in Ohio. Permanently this time. The restraining order is good for 3 years. Hopefully by then she'll have moved on.
You know what the funniest part was? After the whole thing, we still made your keynote on time. I got coffee on my blazer during the takedown, but at least we got coffee.
We laugh about it now. Maya calls it the time I had to submit your ex-girlfriend on 5th Avenue. It's become our favorite story to tell at dinner parties. So that's my story. The invisible king who became visible. The delivery guy who became chairman. The guy who ate ramen in a leaking apartment and now runs board meetings in a company he built from shadows. But the best part? The best part isn't the money or the title or even the revenge. The best part is sitting in that same ramen shop on 9th Avenue with someone who sees me. Really sees me. Someone who loves the struggle as much as the success. Someone who can take down my toxic ex with a perfect arm drag.
To be fair, it was a really clean takedown.
It really was. This is Chris, signing off. Find someone who can handle both your success and your ramen. And maybe someone who knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You never know when you'll need it.
And always defend your Kimura grip.
Always defend your Kimura grip. Good advice for business and life.